I wanted to do a little bonus video for the stamp class, and thought it would be really fun to do a rolling stamp or a wheel stamp and show you how that gets made. And what you're going to do, you're going to need a slab of clay, so a little flat piece of clay that you roll out or you press on the table and get it nice and flat, about anywhere from a ½ inch to an inch wide. And then you're going to need something to trace a circle with. So you're going to place that on top of the clay. And then what we're going to do is you do all your carving, stamping, or whatever on the flat part of the wheel. So this is like the tire tread of a tire. And then when you roll that on clay, it presses in a continual impression of all that you've put on here, all the texture that you've put on here. So it can be one long running thing that connects, or it can be a whole lot of disjointed things that connect, and it's just really kind of fun. So I'm going to tilt you down to the table so you can see what I'm doing. I have my slab of clay, and I'm going to use the paint can as my template for the circle. And I'm going to use just a needle tool, and I'm going to trace around the bottom of the can, trace the circle. And I can get the can out of my way. So now I have a circle drawn on my clay. And then I'm going to take the needle tool and I'm going to cut through. And I usually go in two swipes, because when you try to go through all the way at once, it's a little hard to do that. So if you do it twice, whoops, you can break your needle if it's too thick, so I'll use a skewer. See, I mess things up too, all the time. And I'm working in an air dry clay. I've been doing these stamps in both air dry and fired clays. And I think air dries are really going to be fine. So now I can pop that out. So now I have my wheel. Doesn't have to be perfecto, just needs to be wheel-like. We'll say it's wheel-like. So there's my little circle. This stuff is no different than everything I've been saying to you guys with all the other projects that you're doing. When I'm saying use things for texture, look at the bottom of your shoes, look what's around the house, see what you can use that when you press that into clay, you can get a really cool texture. The thing with a stamp is now you have that for future use, and it's already there, and you can just imprint that and fill up areas of clay or slabs of clay. This is a little decorative ball that people put a bunch of these on the coffee table in a bowl or something. And this one is little tree branches that they cut off in slices and then glued onto probably a styrofoam ball. I love the pattern that it makes. And so what I'm going to do is press this into the flat part of my ball, and now I have these little circles impressed in here. When you press, it's going to make your ball bulge a little bit, or your wheel bulge a little bit. Don't worry about it. I don't worry about it. This is just a little square block, so I can press little lines. I could do this with a popsicle stick too. I can also use the corners and get parts of the square. I always look at everything, top, bottom, middle, side, and just see what kind of textures every bit of it is going to make. So there's now some little lines there. Now I have this little stick because I broke my needle tool. I can use that to press in little dots. So we'll roll a little section of dots with this one. Let's see what else. I could use one of my stamps that I made and use it to stamp on here and have a pattern from that. So, I mean, you can double duty your stamps. You can use the stamp over and over several different ways. So now I have textures going all around this wheel. So what's going to happen is when I roll this wheel over something, it's going to leave those impressions. Now, as hard as it is to be patient, you really don't want to roll that wheel right now to see what this is going to do, because this is still wet. And if I put the pressure on this to roll it, I'm also going to flatten some of this, and I'm going to lose some of my details. So I have to be a good girl and put it over on the side and let it dry. But I did make some wheels earlier today that are dry enough for me to show you what they're going to do. So these again are the air dry clay. So you're going to place that down on your clay, and you're going to just roll it. And as you roll it, it's just going to do all the surface texture that you put on. It's going to just do it in a continual line. So opposed to using separate little stamps and filling an area, you can do a long continual line with this. Look at, I just filled all of that. This is another one. It's a little thinner. It has some different patterns on it. So if you could see those, I apologize, it's hard to see the textures in clay sometimes. When it's just wet clay like this in the camera and the lighting, it really makes it a little difficult for you to see what's happening, I'm sure. But I could fill this whole little slab of clay in seconds, where when I'm just finding these objects and creating these patterns, it takes me a whole lot longer. Think about the other things that you can find for texture. You can carve in your own designs. I use just the end of a tool to press in that design, that shape. This one here, again, some of these are in that PDF. Little dots, and then I attach the dots with the end of a popsicle stick. This one is a bottle cap that was smashed, and I found it in the alley. Here's my little bird. It's printed in there. So you can see the different things that can happen. This is so fun and so addictive, and I hope that you guys have a lot of fun with it and find a lot of use for it in your work. Those rolling stamps, one cool thing that I'm thinking about for a lot of you out there with the rolling stamps, great for going over round surfaces like heads. You know, they're great on flat surface, but that rolling wheel, you can run that over almost anything. It's not like trying to put a flat surface on a round where you have to rock it and move it around. You can just roll right over things with those rollers. So have fun, experiment, have a great rest of the Mother's Day here, and show me what you're making, show me your stamps, put your stuff up online, let's see what everybody's coming up with. The birds are screaming. I just made them a little Love Shack house, so I just attached it to the outside of their cage. And I want babies, I want bird babies. I don't know if you can see them. So we're all going to go now. We're going to cover up the birds. I'm going to go home and have pizza with my husband and hang out on the couch. So have fun with your stamps. Thanks for being here. Bye.